Hello guys, good afternoon. I apologize for the inconvenience. I couldn't fix the settings of Zoom. I don't know why it changed them back to the password requirement. I removed that a long time ago, but I don't know how Zoom changed the settings again. But I'll try to fix it so that we have classes on Thursday, okay? Then today we're going to start by checking homework. So please go to your books, page 129, and check exercises C and D. You can pause this video to check them with time. So these are the answers of exercises D and F. You are free to pause the video so that you can have enough time to check your answers. If you have questions, you can ask me on Thursday. And finally, these are the answers to exercise C on page 131. Okay, I'm not sure if you saw these presentations or these slides, so I'm gonna go back so that you can pause the video and check them, okay? Hmm. And this one. Okay, so I checked and apparently I am recording well, so let's continue. Then today we're going to start Unit 11B. Today I was planning on giving you an introduction before you do the reading for homework. So the topic of this reading is coastal erosion. And as you know, this is a phenomenon that is happening in the world and it doesn't really have like a way to stop it. So, well, you go over the reading, you will complete some exercises, and then maybe we can comment on this topic on Thursday. Okay? Then, uh, after completing the reading exercise, you will have to complete some vocabulary exercises, and in one of them, on page 133, you will have to use the parts of the speech one more time. You know this topic. We worked on this on the first week of classes, so I know you're familiar with this topic. So you know that we have some word families that have the same root of the word, the same beginning, and also they mean the same. They have the same meaning, but the difference between the words change because of the category, because of the type of word. So you know that we use nouns for the subjects uh, and objects of a sentence. We use the adjectives to describe the nouns, the adverbs that describe the 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 verbs, sorry, and the verbs that are the actions or states. So you know this topic already, and on page 133 you will have to complete another chart and then complete one exercise in which you have to change the words in parentheses or well the words in bold uh, to fit or to put the correct word in the sentence. Then today's topic is comparisons. I know this is something that you have seen before. This is a topic that you are very familiar with because you have worked on this since you were, I know, maybe not in kindergarten, but this is a topic that you have seen in all your English levels since, I think it's since level 1. So we are just going to review, and I'm going to add a little extra to what you know already. So I took these examples from another book. Here we have that we compare two things normally. So when we are just comparing two things, we are going to use the comparative form of the adjectives. And here we have two examples. The train is faster than the bus, and it is also more expensive. You know that fast is the adjective and faster is the comparative form. And you know that we add er because fast is a one-syllable adjective. And in the case of expensive, expensive is like a three-syllable adjective. That's why instead of er, we add more, and that's how we form the comparative form of the adjectives. We will see the formulas in a moment. Well, also you know that when we are comparing three things, minimum, or yes, three or more things, we are going to use the superlative form of the adjectives. Here the examples are, well, the plane is the fastest of all, and it is also the most expensive. As you know, it's the same thing, but instead of adding er, we add est, and instead of more, we add most, and we need the article, the, to form the superlative form of the adjectives. Then there is another way of making comparisons. This is also between two things only, and that is when we use as. So the formula is as, adjective as, and that means the same. But if you use it in negative, then there is a difference between the two. So here in the example we have John is as tall as Mark. This means that they have the same height. They are the same. But if we make it negative, John isn't as tall as Mark, then Mark is taller, right? Okay, then this is the other extra, the other little extra that we're going to add to comparatives and superlatives, and that is the use of adverbs, the use of adverbs to express how different the things are from each other. So in this case, we use by far with superlatives. And here we have the example. She's by far the most beautiful woman in the room. By far is not really necessary. I can just say she is the most beautiful woman in the room, and that's complete. But if you want to express how different she is from the rest, you can use by far. Then the structure of the comparative sentence goes like this. I need a subject, a verb in any tense, the degree adverb that tells me how different the difference is, and remember that this is optional. That's why it is in parentheses. Then we have the comparative adjective, or the adjective in the comparative form. And then we have than and the object. I put this in parentheses because sometimes if we know already the other object or the second object, we don't need to mention it. But in case you mention it, you need to use than, the word than. So my example is Piqué is taller than Shakira. Piqué is the first thing that I am comparing. Is the verb. Taller than is the comparative. And then Shakira is the second thing that I'm comparing. So as we know, we need thing 1 and thing 2 in order to make a comparative sentence. And as an option, you can use adverbs of degree to say how different the two things are. And in the case of a lot, way, much, and far, they express a big difference. And a little bit, and slightly, they express a very small difference. So how can I make a sentence using a degree adverb? Well, it goes like this. Piqué is much taller than Shakira. If I say Piqué is taller than Shakira, that sounds okay. But if I want to exaggerate, or maybe not exaggerate, but explain how different, I can just say much taller. And then we all agree because Piqué is very, very tall compared with with Shakira. Then this is how I make a comparative adjective. So from the normal adjective, if the normal adjective is one syllable, then I add er, and that's how I get the comparative adjective. But as you can see over here, if I have a one syllable adjective that finishes with consonant, vowel, consonant, I need to double the last consonant before adding the suffix er. So big, bigger with double G. Small, smaller, cold, colder. Then if my adjective is of two syllables or more, instead of adding er, I add more before the adjective and then I use than. So modern has two syllables. If you clap, you can hear like modern. So from two syllables on, you have to use more. So more modern, interesting, more interesting, intelligent, more intelligent. Then I have an exception. That is when I have a two syllable adjective that finishes with y, for example, happy. Instead of adding more, I am going to remove the y and add er. So happy, happier than, dirty, dirtier than, funny, funnier than. So just remember that because it finishes with a y and because they are two syllable adjectives, that's when we add er. We also have exceptions. These are irregular adjectives because in their comparative and superlative form, they don't take the same forms as the other adjectives. So good is better instead of gooder, bad is worse, not badder, little is less, far is farther than, and or further. Farther is something more tangible, and further refers to something more abstract. Okay, then how do I make a comparative? Well, how do I make a comparative adjective? So from the adjective, for example, creative, I just follow the rules. So more creative because it has more than two syllables. Sorry, two syllables or more. Smart, even though it has a lot of letters, it's only one syllable. So smarter, sorry. Then big, bigger, more modern, more modern, hot, hotter, funny, funnier, and expensive, more expensive. Then how do I use the adverbs to express the difference? I just put them before the comparative, and it goes like this: a lot more creative, way smarter, far bigger, much more modern, a little hotter, a little bit funnier, slightly more expensive. So these adverbs just tell me how different the two things are, and they are optional. But it sounds good if you use them. We are not going to complete the challenge because, well, as you know, I have to record this session, but this is my example. WAC students are a lot more creative than UTEC students. I can also say WAC students are more creative than UTEC students, but I don't think that's fair because there is a big difference, not a small one. So it sounds better with a lot. Then this is the structure of the superlative sentence. I need subject one, a verb in any tense. The degree adverb is optional. And then the article the superlative form of the adjective. And then I can use two prepositions, of or in. I use of if I'm talking about the same type of thing, and I use in if I'm talking about the place. So for example, I have Christoph van Hout is the tallest in the world. And as you know, I am comparing one thing to the rest of the world, and I can use another of degree to make it sound better. So I can use by far or one of. So Christoph van Hout is by far the tallest of all the players. I am going to stop the recording now because I can only record 15 minutes, but I will record another 5 minutes for you to know the homework, okay?